$200 million. That's how much 5 teenagers stole when they turned their gaming obsession into one of the most audacious corporate espionage operations of the 2010s, stealing intellectual property from Microsoft, Epic Games, and even the US Army through social engineering and technical exploits. This is the story of Xbox Underground, the first foreign hacking crew to face prosecution on US soil under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. It all started in a recycling center in California. In 2006, Rowdy Van Cleve, a 38-year-old Wells Fargo technology manager and veteran Xbox hacker, was sifting through mountains of electronic waste when he stumbled upon something extraordinary. Hidden among debris were 5 Xbox motherboards, and they weren't just any motherboards. They were development kits that Microsoft had discarded. When he booted one up at home, the screen offered him something no regular Xbox user had ever seen: debugging mode. Van Cleve had discovered a gold mine. These were the secret tools Microsoft used to create games, and somehow they ended up in the trash. He kept some for himself and began selling others to a growing underground market of hackers desperate to peek beyond the curtains of the gaming industry. 2 years later, a 16-year-old named David Pokora from Ontario got his hands on one of these magical devices. Born in 1992 into a middle-class family, Pokora was a computer science student at the University of Toronto with a curiosity about how things worked. That development kit changed everything. He wanted to understand it, exploit it, and share what he learned. By 2010, Pokora had assembled a crew of like-minded individuals from around the world. There was Nathan Lerox, a 19-year-old from Maryland who went by the alias Anime Freak, Sanadode Nishiwat, 28 from New Jersey, known online as Sonic ISO, Austin Alcala, just 19 from Indiana, using the handle AA Monkey, and perhaps most intriguingly, Dylan Wheeler, a 14-year-old Australian kid who called himself Super Day. They joked around about what to call their group. Wheeler suggested something that was more cringy than 2016 Jake Paul: Xbox Underground. Little did they know how big that name would become. What started as teenage curiosity evolved into something far more sinister. In January 2011, the group began systematically infiltrating Microsoft's computer networks. They used SQL injection vulnerabilities, stolen login credentials obtained through social engineering, and remote access tools like TeamViewer to penetrate not just Xbox Live, but also Microsoft's Game Developer Network program, Epic Games, Activision Blizzard, Electronic Arts, Valve, Sony, and even Autodesk. Their motivation was based on Xbox obsession. They were driven by an overwhelming desire to see what Microsoft was building in secret, especially the next generation console codenamed Durango. This was Microsoft's closely guarded secret that would eventually become the Xbox One and revolutionize console gaming. In September 2011, they achieved their first major victory, stealing a pre-release copy of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. The leak sent shockwaves through the gaming industry and triggered the FBI's initial investigation. But the teenagers were just getting started. Pokora's bragging revealed exactly what they were doing, because it was on a wiretap line. He stated, "Have you been listening to the stuff I've done in the past month?
I have it to the US military. I have it to the Australian Department of Defense. I have every single big company. Intel, AMD, Nvidia, Google, Microsoft, Disney, Warner Brothers, everything."
The military comment was especially alarming. Xbox Underground had somehow connected to a US Army server and stolen the AH-64D Apache simulator software used to train military helicopter pilots. Suddenly, this wasn't just video game hacking anymore. It had become something much more serious. Dylan Wheeler, despite being the youngest member at just 16, became the group's most public face. In August 2012, he listed what appeared to be Microsoft's secret Durango prototype on eBay. The auction spiraled out of control, reaching $53,100 after 43 bids. Wheeler later claimed it was just for publicity. He stated, "It was more just to get people talking. No one pays that kind of price. They bid just for the sake of it." But law enforcement wasn't amused. The walls were closing in. In February 2013, Perth police raided Wheeler's family home, seizing credit cards, his MacBook Pro, his mobile phone, and about $10,000 worth of technology. Similar raids were happening worldwide as the FBI coordinated with international partners to dismantle the network. The group's final act was their boldest yet. In September 2013, Pokora and Alcala executed a physical theft at Microsoft's Redmond headquarters. Using stolen access credentials, they walked into the secure building undetected and exited with 3 unreleased Xbox One development kits. It was the perfect crime, except they'd already been under federal surveillance for months. The dominoes began falling rapidly. A sealed federal indictment was returned in July 2013. But it was David Pokora's arrest that revealed the FBI's most devastating weapon, one of their own. Pokora's downfall came during what should have been a simple road trip. He'd driven from Canada to Delaware to pick up a car bumper from his friend Justin May. The American seller wouldn't ship to Canada, so May offered to help. The two had collaborated for years, but had never met in person. It was supposed to be a one-day trip. Instead, it was a trap. Justin May, known in the group as MTW, had been working with the FBI all along. When Pokora tried to return to Canada on March 28, 2014, federal agents were waiting at the border. The revelation that May was an informant shattered the group. He'd been placed on pretrial probation for an earlier data theft offense and was forbidden from using Xbox Live. His agreement with the FBI had been the key to bringing down his former friends. Nathan Lerox's story perhaps took the darkest turn. Released on bail and living with his parents, he made a desperate decision to flee to Canada. After cutting off his electronic monitoring device, he was surrounded by border police. Facing certain capture, Lerox attempted to unspawn himself. Doctors managed to save his life, but his troubles were far from over. The sentences came down in 2015 under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act. David Pokora received 18 months and was released in July 2015. Sanadode Nishiwat got 18 months as well. Nathan Lerox received 24 months, reflecting his role in the flight attempt. But the story didn't end with their releases. The aftermath revealed just how devastating the cybercrime had been. Prosecutors estimated the value of stolen data and recovery costs between $100 and $200 million. They recovered only $620,000 in proceeds from the hackers. Justin May's cooperation with the FBI didn't save him from his own criminal activities. In June 2021, he was sentenced to 7 years in prison for defrauding over $3.5 million from tech companies, including Microsoft and Cisco systems. He did this by exploiting warranty policies. The FBI had seized a new BMW and $38,500 in cash from his home in 2017. The fates of the Xbox Underground members diverged dramatically. Sanadode Nishiwat struggled with drug addiction after his release and was arrested again in 2017 for violating probation by using opioids. He eventually completed rehabilitation and began rebuilding his life. Dylan Wheeler became an international fugitive. Facing additional very serious charges in Australia, he fled with his mother's help to Dubai and then to the Czech Republic, where his citizenship protected him from extradition. His mother was later arrested and jailed for assisting his escape. Wheeler remained at large, occasionally appearing at cybersecurity conferences in London and running a cybersecurity company until March 2020, when he disappeared entirely. David Pokora, the mastermind, served his time and was released, though friends worried about the psychological impact of imprisonment on someone so young. Thankfully, he was able to build a career in cybersecurity. He graduated from University of Toronto in computer science, and now works as a principal security engineer. The Xbox Underground case demonstrates how technical talent, when combined with poor judgment and thrill-seeking behavior, can destroy lives and cost companies hundreds of millions of dollars. It revealed how easily teenagers with gaming obsessions could penetrate some of the world's most secure networks, not through sophisticated zero-day exploits or nation-state techniques, but through persistence, social engineering, and an incredible knowledge of the systems they loved. These were the kids who loved Xbox so much they couldn't resist peeking behind the curtain. That curiosity cost them their freedom and their futures. The good part about all this is the fact that some members use this experience to actually help companies stay secure. Some hackers get out of prison and keep hacking. Others disappear. But guys like David Pokora had the chance to question their morality and use their skills for good. Some of the best security professionals today once had a life of crime, but the story of Xbox Underground proves that in life, you have the choice to leverage your skills for good or for bad. David is a perfect example of that. I hope you enjoyed this video. and it would mean the world to me if you liked the video and subscribed. I make videos about everything ranging from cyber criminals to government-backed hackers, all the way into deep web investigations and ethical hacking tutorials. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day.